Hello and welcome to day 2 of our challenge, and today we're going to completely slow things down. So we're going to be practicing some yin yoga. Now yin yoga is where we hold the poses for around 5 minutes. So it's quite relaxing in the fact that you are holding the poses, but don't be deceived, these poses are still going to get quite intense. Now, normally we would use lots of props. Now, I know that most of you are new to yoga, so today I'm just got 2 cushions. So if you have cushions or blankets, maybe rolled up blankets, pillows from your bed, anything like that will work wonders. Now, the first thing we're going to do is place the pillows next to you because we're going to come down onto our backs. So roll down onto your back. Plant your feet flat on the ground, quite close towards your bum. I always like to try to touch them with my fingertips and then I know they're in the right place. We're going to lift the hips up. Now, as you lift your hips up, I don't want you to turn your head. So if you need to see what we're doing, come down, turn your head, and then come back up. So we're going to lift the hips up. Place your props underneath your hips. Okay, so you've got a little bit of height in your hips. Now, personally, I think this is a little bit too low. So what I'm going to do is just fold up one of the cushions to go a little bit higher. Now you can always use books here as well. Preferably, if I was doing this in a proper yoga class, I would use a yoga block and place it on the middle setting. So place that underneath your hips. Try to relax your hips down as much as you can. Now when I say under the hips, it's going at the low spine, top of the bum, okay? Arms down by the sides, palms facing up for a second. And just notice how your body feels here. You might not be feeling anything, that's fine. Now this first pose I'm going to talk through quite a lot, just to give you an idea of how to do yin yoga. And then the next couple poses, we're going to find a little bit of silence. So feel free to stay here. Now, when we do yin yoga, the main goal is to feel that little bit of a stretch, right? We're trying to get deep into the muscles, into the fascia. So we're going to explore some variations of this pose. Now you can bring the blocks up higher, or cushions, or whatever it is you have. More props, maybe add even another cushion in. Another option is to take your legs out long. Okay, so now we're like banana shaping the body. Let your feet just flop open, that's fine. Now, the next thing we would like to do is when we do our back bends, we also need to get into the shoulders, so especially if we're doing our wheel pose. So grab hold of your opposite wrist, it doesn't matter which wrist, bring your arms above your head. I'm just going to move the microphone so I'm not shouting in the microphone there. Arms above your head, stretch them out and then relax them down. Okay, so you're properly banana shaping your body here. Now try to relax the hips as much as you possibly can. You might feel something, you might not feel something. Just relax here. If you're really not feeling anything at all, no sensation whatsoever, put something else underneath your hips and bring your body up higher. Okay, for me, just as an example here, I'm feeling a little bit of pull in my pelvis, in the front of my right hip. Okay, so just notice what you're feeling. And then from here, we want to take long inhales and exhales, okay? Try to relax the body as best as you can, because every time your body comes into shock and your body wants to get out of a pose, it's going to be tensing. Now, when your body tenses, the muscles cannot let them, they can't relax. They're trying to tighten. So we want to take long inhales and even longer exhales to get the body to relax. So you should notice that every time you take a nice big exhale, your body relaxes a little bit more into the pose, into the prop. Maybe even close down your eyes, that can help to relax the body. And you might notice that as your body relaxes more, you might start feeling it more. So just another couple breaths in this pose. Now normally in yin yoga, you hold the poses for between 2 to 7 minutes is ideal. So I tend to stick to around 5 minutes. But I know in this first pose I've been speaking quite a bit. Let's just do another few breaths. Nice long inhales and exhales. Okay, let's slowly move your body nice and slowly now. When you've been holding the poses for a long time, you want to come out of them slowly. Bend up your knees, plant your feet flat on the ground. Bring your arms down. Lift up your hips, and if you can, you're going to push the props backwards. So more towards your chest. Use your elbows to come on up. You can take a seat if you want while you sort this out. Come onto your bum. Now the next stage is to plant your props underneath your chest. Okay, so if you're a woman, the back of your bra strap, okay, right behind your chest. Keeping your bum flat on the ground as well. So if your bum lifts up, lower your props or move your props further towards your head, okay? Because we want the bum to be flat on the ground. Take your prop behind your chest. It might feel awkward to start with. Now, one thing that you can do here is use another prop for your head, okay? Now, as we have only got 5 days together, you can feel free to take the next stage up, which would be to drop your head down onto the ground, okay? Arms down by the sides, nice and relaxed again. So you've got this deep arch in the back. Head is relaxed onto something. If your head is hovering, we don't want that, so place something underneath your head. Grab a book or literally anything lying around. Now again, for options, you can stay here. You can lengthen out the legs, let the feet flop open. You can grab your wrists, bring your arms up above your head. Now might feel a little bit more intense. So let's take a couple of breaths here. Nice long inhales and exhales. And whatever muscle you're feeling this in, try to relax that part even more. Just notice where it's pulling. Try to soften everything down, including your facial muscles. It's so easy to tense the jaw, so make sure your jaw is nice and loose, your eyes are loose. Now feel free to stay here. I'm going to give you another option. If this is feeling like a lot, just stay here. Don't take this next option, okay? With yin yoga, one of the main difficulties is listening to your own body, okay? So really make sure you're paying attention. You need your body to relax. So if you start finding the pose difficult and you're tensing, it's not going to be working, okay? So make sure you can still relax in the pose. Now, if you want the next stage, we're going to bend the left knee and then bring the left foot. So you can grab your left ankle with your left foot and bring it to the outside of your left hip. Okay, now we've got a little bit of a quad stretch going on. Again, you can bring your hands up above your head. Let's take a couple breaths here before going on to the next side. Try to make sure that both of your bum cheeks are still flat on the ground. If you had that left leg up, just slowly bring it back down and come on to the other side. So bend the right knee up, grab hold of that right foot, and bring it back. Now again, because our bodies are uneven, you might find that one side is easier to do that than the other. So don't be surprised if you can do it on the left side and not the right side, and vice versa. Okay, so even if you couldn't do it on the left, try it on the right just to see. And let's hold it here. One side probably will feel more intense. Remember, once you're in whatever position you're in, relax everything. By the way, yawning is a really good sign that you are opening up pathways in the body. So if you do start yawning in a yoga class, you know you're stretching, you know you're working. And then let's bend up that right knee, bend up both knees, plant your feet flat on the ground. Really slowly bring your hands down. Dig into your elbows, lift your head, go nice and slow, and push yourself up to seated. Move your props out the way for a second. Bring your legs out in front, and just sit up nice and straight. Maybe bring the hands down by the sides, lengthen through that spine. Okay, so we worked a little bit on the quads, the low back, the mid back. Let's get a little bit into those shoulders. So let's roll over onto our hands and knees. Go nice and slow, remember. You won't need any props for this one. So all fours, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then take your arms out as long as you can and then sink your chest down to the ground. Now notice here, what I'm not doing is I am not planting my elbows on the ground, okay? So hands are shoulder width. Keep your elbows lifted, arms nice and strong. Check back that your hips are over your knees. Now from here, now sink your chest down. Maybe you can rest your forehead on the ground. If you can, just notice that if you rest, do you then suddenly kind of loosen everything up? Because today, or in this pose, we don't want that. So keep that tension in the arms. Sink that chest low with every exhale. Maybe you can even place your chin on the ground and look towards your hands. If that's the case, your arms are going to get lower to the ground. Still actively lift up those elbows. It might look like they're on the ground, but lift them up. And then take a few breaths here. Trying to stretch through a little bit of the chest, but also those shoulders. Now, one of the hardest things in yoga is to keep your mind present. So if you start thinking about other things, keep pulling your attention back to your breath and back to how your body feels. Keep checking in with yourself. Slow inhales, even slower exhales. Keep those elbows lifted. Sink that chest down. Every exhale, see if you can get a little bit closer to the ground. Not only is this building flexibility in the shoulders, also a little bit of strength by keeping those elbows up. And you need strength to push yourself into wheel pose. We're staying in our puppy pose, but just a different variation. So now drop the elbows, bring the palms together so that your hands are in a prayer position, and then bring them up over your head. And now sink your chest down low. So it just takes a little bit of strength out of your shoulders. Now we're working mostly on the flexibility. Sink that chest down low. Just a few more breaths here. One of the most famous sayings in Yin Yoga is, find the comfort within the discomfort. So yes, this can be uncomfortable, but can you find some comfort in it? Can you relax a little bit more? Can you find some comfort that you are working your body, improving your body, working on yourself? And then slowly bring those hands down if you had them up. Push into your hands, slowly lift the head, walk your hands back in. Toes together, knees as wide as the yoga mat. Let's just take a quick rebound here. Sit back onto your heels to start with. Lengthen through the spine. You can grab your cushions again or do this without. You're going to bring your hands in front and just fold forward into your child's pose. I'm going to grab the cushions. After having some deep back bends, sometimes it's nice to just not have such a round in the spine, so cushions will help that. Fold over. And just relax here for a few breaths. Let your head come down, let everything release. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Just move your props out to the side. And that's us done for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope today showed that, you don't need lots of energy to improve your body, right? To gain that flexibility. There's so many different ways that you can gain flexibility, and it's actually better to mix it up and to do all. So yesterday we went over the body parts. Today we've slowed it down and got deep into those tissues. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a slow flow, so kind of in between yin and vinyasa. So yin is the slower version where you're getting deep. Vinyasa is the faster, one breath per movement. Slow flow, which we're going to do tomorrow, is a little bit in between. So we're going to be holding the poses a little bit longer, but adding in a little bit more of that flow. So make sure you join in for tomorrow, and I will see you then.